Hello, chiefs and assistant chiefs in Kenya. How does it look when they do what they have been employed to do? First of all, do the chiefs and assistant chiefs live in the area assigned? Are the jobs advertised fairly to the residents of the area? Do they have the same economic standing as where they live? Income, housing, office, transport means? Technologically, are they up to date? The duty of chief and assistant chief is to maintain order. It shall be the duty of every chief or assistant chief to maintain order in the area in respect of which he or she is appointed, and for such purpose he or she shall have and exercise the jurisdiction and powers by this act conferred upon him or her over persons residing or being within such area. Chief may employ persons to assist him or her in carrying out duties. Power of chief to issue orders for certain purposes. Any chief may from time to time issue orders to be obeyed by the persons residing or being within the local limits of his or her jurisdiction for any of the following purposes: prohibiting or restricting the consumption or possession of intoxicating liquor by and the supply of such liquor to young persons, prohibiting or restricting the holding of drinking bouts, prohibiting or restricting the cultivation of poisonous or noxious plants, and the manufacture, transfer, sale, and possession of noxious drugs or poisons, prohibiting or restricting the carrying of arms, prohibiting any act or conduct which in the opinion of the chief might cause a riot or a disturbance or a breach of the peace, preventing the pollution of the water in any stream, watercourse, or water hole, and preventing the obstruction of any stream or watercourse. Also, regulating the cutting of timber and prohibiting the wasteful destruction of trees, preventing the spread of disease, whether of human beings or animals, prohibiting any act or thing which may cause damage to any public road or to any work constructed or maintained for the benefit of the community, controlling grass fires, regulating the use of artificial water supplies constructed from public funds and for any other purpose authorized by this act. Further powers of chiefs to issue orders. Any chief may from time to time issue orders to be obeyed by persons residing within the local limits of his or her jurisdiction for any of the following purposes: requiring persons to report the presence within the local limits of his or her jurisdiction of any property stolen or believed to have been stolen outside such local limits, suppressing or controlling animal or insect pests or plant pests, noxious weeds or diseases, requiring any person to report to his or her chief without delay the arrival in or the passage through his or her location from without of any cattle, requiring the proper burial of deceased persons in cemeteries or otherwise, forbidding the deliberate exposure of persons supposed to be dying, restricting or prohibiting the use of grazing by any form of stock in any area which has been set apart for the purpose of reconditioning or which has been planted with any fodder producing plants or grass. Power to require work or services in emergency: fire, flood, earthquake, violent epidemic or epizootic disease, invasion by animal or insect pests or plant diseases or pests, or arising from circumstances which would endanger the existence of the whole or any part of the population. Any able-bodied adult person to perform any such work or render any such service as foresaid specified in such order. Minister to provide food, housing, and transport as he may consider. Minister shall pay to any person who performs any work or renders any service under this section. A chief has the power to require work or services for conservation of natural resources. Conduct of chiefs. No chief shall engage in the activities of any political party or act as an agent of any such party, or in the performance of his or her functions or the exercise of his or her powers under this act, subject any person to torture or to any other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment, enter or search any private premises with a warrant duly issued by a magistrate, or demand or solicit any donations or collections in a manner likely to suggest that such donations or collections are a precondition for any service, or maintain a cell or other place of confinement of persons. Without prejudice to the provisions of subsection 1, the minister may in rules prescribe a code of conduct to govern the conduct of chiefs in the exercise of their powers and the performance of their functions under this act. A village elder. The person shall be eligible for appointment as a village elder if the person is a citizen of Kenya, has been a resident of, or has been the owner of property in the respective village unit for a continuous period of not less than 5 years prior to the appointment date, meets the requirement of Chapter 6 of the Constitution, and is not disqualified for appointment to office by this act or any other law. A village elder shall be paid such allowance as shall be determined by the respective county assembly. Village council. A village council comprising the village administrator, who shall be the chairperson of the village council, and not less than 3 and not more than 5 village elders competitively appointed by the village administrator with the approval of the county assembly, taking into account gender balance. A village council shall be responsible for ensuring and coordinating the participation of the village unit in governance, assisting the village unit to develop the administrative capacity for the effective exercise of the functions and powers and participation in governance at the local level, monitoring the implementation of policies at the village unit, advising the ward administrator and sub-county administrator on matters pertaining to the village, and any other function necessary for the better administration of the village unit. Office of Village Administrator. A village administrator shall have professional qualifications and technical knowledge in administration, and shall be appointed by the County Public Service Board in accordance with the provision of this act. A village administrator shall coordinate, manage, and supervise the general administrative functions in the village, including ensuring and coordinating the participation of the village unit in governance, and assisting the village unit to develop the administrative capacity for the effective exercise of the functions and powers and participation in governance at the local level, and reports to the relevant ward administrator. There you have it. We'll be looking at commissioners. How does it look when they do what they have been employed to do? Thank you for joining me for this video. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button and also the bell on the right, where you'll be able to know when a new video comes in. Okay, thank you. See you. Bye.